Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news. Going to be diving into the latest around the club. Jadon Sancho, there is talk about Arsenal being interested in Sancho. Could we be the way out for Jadon Sancho at Manchester United? Obviously, he doesn't want to be there anymore. There's talk about him leaving. There is talk about him leaving in the summer or even in January as well. Would you take Jadon Sancho at Arsenal? Let me know in the comment box below. Odegaard says he wants to be at Arsenal for a very long time, if that is going to be permitted. Declan Rice has spoken about his move to Arsenal. He said Mikel Arteta was the key factor for him to join Arsenal in the summer. And of course, we'll talk about a few transfers, including Ousmane Diomande. According to Fabrizio Romano, Ousmane Diomande is the 19-year-old centre-back Arsenal have been tracking and looking at for a very long time, and Arsenal could actually make a move in January or even next summer. So hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. They talk about Jadon Sancho. What are you having it? Are you having him at Arsenal? Is he a player that you think Arsenal can actually improve? I mean, we've improved a couple of them, but Jadon Sancho, a flop at Manchester United, a star at Dortmund. Can he be a star at Arsenal? Can he turn around his career? Probably after Kai Havertz turning his career around at Arsenal. So let's get this one to 500 likes and let's dive into the latest around the club. So let's start off with that big Odegaard interview and remark. He was asked about his future at Arsenal. Is he going to sign a new deal? Is he really interested in being in the Premier League for a long time? Or could he actually think about other options, Real Madrid, Bayern, and FC Barcelona? And he said he would love to be at Arsenal for a very long time. So if there is an opportunity for him to be, at the club, sign a longer term deal, he would welcome it and he would love to be there for at least some longer time. Now, I think with Odegaard, those are very reassuring remarks, especially with talks ongoing between him and Arsenal for the new deal. Those are very reassuring, remarks. He's our captain. I think the project believes in him. Mikel Arteta as a manager sees him as a leader. He sees him as a different person from this squad. He's a young player, but the amount of influence he's got in the dressing room and the amount of leadership he actually brings to the Arsenal side, not only Arsenal but also to Norway, is absolutely magnificent. In my opinion, in the future, we could see Declan Rice come on top of the Arsenal leadership group, probably as captain. But at the moment and in the next 2-3 years, I still see Martin Ødegaard as our captain. So he says he wants to be at Arsenal for a long time. I appreciate that. I love that. And I think he will be here for like the next 3 years. I'm not 100% sure Arsenal will keep Odegaard against all odds. So if Madrid came in, or if a club like Bayern came in, or if a club like FC Barcelona, came in, if they got their finances probably in place and they became a little bit better financially, I think he would go. Arsenal could listen to offers of 90 million, of 100 million. We've never sold a 100 million pound player. We've never sold a 90 million pound player. So I don't think Arsenal will actually stand in the way of Martin Ødegaard if he wants to go, or if a club actually comes in and it has the offers that we are actually maybe thinking about, or offers we've never dreamed about. So at the moment, Odegaard is focused on this Arsenal project and he actually wants to stay. Declan Rice is another player who has also had a couple of remarks in this pre-season. He was asked about his signature for Arsenal. What actually aided him to come to Arsenal? Why not Man City? Why not Chelsea? Why not Liverpool? Why not Man United? And he said it was Mikel Arteta. It was Mikel Arteta that actually propelled me. He convinced me. He cajoled me into playing for this side. The moment I talked to him, the moment I interacted with him, I knew what the project was all about, but I also knew my role in the project, and I knew the kind of gaffer he was going to be at Arsenal. I think Mikel has done a very good job, by the way. And this is one of the attributes that go unnoticed, or at times less appreciated, from Mikel Arteta. You look at these players, Trossard. I mean, there are so many clubs that could have taken Leandro Trossard, including Tottenham Hotspur. Martin Ødegaard as well, convincing him to come from Real Madrid to Arsenal. That was a very good job. The likes of Ben White. We've not signed so many players where the competition is zero. Julian Timber, I mean, for him to snub Manchester United, who have Erik ten Hag, ex-manager at Ajax, to move over to Mikel Arteta's side. Yes, he is a big Arsenal fan, but that doesn't mean that every big Arsenal fan actually plays for Arsenal. That much we know. So at least Mikel Arteta has done some good job in terms of attracting those top-notch, top quality talents to Arsenal, and that is also according to Declan Rice. He's the reason why Rice chose Arsenal over any other team. Now, we've had a couple of performances this week already, but in particular yesterday, in terms of our players playing for their national teams. Kai Havertz assisted in the Germany World Cup friendly game against France. Germany won that game 2-1. Very good pass to Leroy Sané. And, I mean, you've got to ask the question, could Kai Havertz come back from the international break much better? Gary Southgate was talking about Harry Maguire, and he said when players are under such, criticism, it's not even scrutiny, it's just pure criticism. It is hard for them to concentrate. It's hard for them to revive their careers. It's hard for them to turn things around. So Kai Havertz playing for Germany, and I'm really, really happy that Germany have kept on playing him and playing him and playing him, and maybe that is where his confidence is going to come from. Maybe that's where his game is going to be unlocked, probably. So he might come back a better player. The pass that he actually played into Leroy Sané really brings out why Kai Havertz was signed by Mikel Arteta and why he's actually playing in that position. That is the big question. Mikel Arteta was asked on ESPN whether Kai Havertz has the resources, the minerals to play in that position, in that midfield position. And he said there's no better player. There is no better player at the moment to play in that midfield. He's got the talent, he's got the resources, he's got the minerals, and he's got the credit in the bank to play as a creative midfielder. So he did have an assist in this international break. That could actually be a positive. The other positive is Leandro Trossard. He scored for Belgium as they were winning, I think 4-0, 5-0 Belgium. And look, it was an easy game, right? I think it was against Estonia. Easy game. But Leandro Trossard, every day he continues to send statements to managers. I've got to start. I'm this good. You've got to give me the opportunity. So Leandro Trossard as well on the score sheet yesterday. Martin Ødegaard, captain, fantastic on the score sheet yesterday, as well as Norway were beating Georgia 2-1. Erling Haaland and Martin Ødegaard on the score sheet. And that is it for now. Gabriel Magalhaes played 90 minutes for Brazil. That means two things. One, the injury talk is over. Okay, so there is no injury talk about Gabi anymore. Played 90 minutes for Brazil against Peru, and Gabriel Martinelli also played in that game. Now, I don't have information on Gabriel Jesus. Did he play in that game? I actually didn't find out, but at least Martinelli represented and Gabriel Magalhaes represented as well. So let's dive into some of the transfer talk around the club. A couple of stories, obviously. It never dries up. Around Arsenal, transfers, it never dries up. But let's start off with the big one. Ousmane Diomande, 19-year-old centre-back, Portuguese, born in 2003. He's 19 years of age at the moment. Fabrizio Romano says that Arsenal are really interested in Ousmane Diomande. He's a player that Arsenal have actually, tracked for quite some time, and it's not only Arsenal. So I was talking to Court Offside, and he said, I'm told he's a player they've been tracking for a very long time, but it's not only Arsenal. There are a couple of other clubs, 3 or 4 clubs monitoring Diomande for the future. But it was never a negotiation this summer. He wasn't for sale. So Sporting are not ready to sell Ousmane Diomande. So there were no negotiations with any clubs this summer, probably next summer or even in January. Do we need a centre-back, a young centre-back? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I mean, the sustainability model Arsenal trying to run literally means that you should get in players at 19 years of age, 20 years of age, groom them. You can sell them later. You can also turn them into world-class centre-backs. So if you were to sell Saliba right now, 100 million. If you're to sell Saka now, 150 million. If you're to sell Gabriel Martinelli now, 90 million. I mean, that is the sustainability model. I mean, we are really running a sustainable project. But with Ousmane Diomande, 19 years, I think Arsenal need to look at more mature centre-backs. I think we need a centre-back. I'm not one of those people who think Kivio, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber, that's all. I think Arsenal will need another centre-back. And maybe Mitchell. I think Tarek Mitchell at Crystal Palace would be an interesting shout. I think he will go to Chelsea, like obviously. But of course, I've not seen much about Ousmane Diomande. But if Arsenal have looked at him for quite some time and the interest is there, it means he's a player that has proven his worth. He's a player that has proven he can actually do it on the big stage. According to Transfer Market website, his market value is around 50 million euros. The market is crazy. 50 million euros for a 19-year-old centre-back. If this guy was a midfielder, it could be 100. If he was a striker, probably 150 million euros. But anyway, Arsenal interested in Ousmane Diomande. Fabrizio is told that Arsenal have looked at him, but also other 3-4 clubs have also looked at him. And that could actually drive the price up. That could mean that Arsenal have to either bully their way into signing him or try to cajole him and convince him into, choosing Arsenal over all these other sides. But Sporting Lisbon consider him not for sale last summer and even this January potentially. So there is talk about Dusan Vlahovic as well. But I think with Vlahovic, it comes with the fact that Arsenal want to sign a striker. So everyone is talking about Dusan Vlahovic, Evan Ferguson, Ivan Toney. Arsenal do want to sign a striker. That is phase 5. But I don't think phase 5 is going to be triggered in January. I don't think Arsenal looking to trigger phase 5, which is centre forwards, actually in January. We might get a good quality centre forward in the summer. Osimhen, Vlahovic, Toney. I mean, whoever Mikel Arteta wants, I think Arsenal will get, but that's gonna be in the summer. I don't think it's gonna come right in January. I don't think we're gonna do Vlahovic in January. And as well, Juve, you think about the situation in which they are. Can they afford to lose a player like Vlahovic? In my opinion, no. I don't think so. He's got to work on his game. They need him, and he's a player that can actually deliver. He's already proven that he can score the goals at Juve, at Fiorentina, for Serbia. He just has to get his cool together. He's got to get his collective together, and then everything will be all right. So, let's talk about Jadon Sancho. So, the talk on social media this week has been Jadon Sancho leaving. Jadon Sancho would prefer a move away from Manchester United rather than, staying for and play for Erik ten Hag. He doesn't want to sit on the bench, and therefore, Arsenal could be one of the clubs looking at him. Now, with Jadon Sancho, let's look at the problem, right? The problem with Jadon Sancho is not that he's not a talented footballer. The problem with Sancho is not that he is not gifted. The problem with Sancho is discipline. The problem with Jadon Sancho is respect. Those are the two problems that Jadon Sancho is facing. So he has missed a couple of training. He's come late in training, according to inside reports. And also, Jadon Sancho has missed a couple of meetings with Erik ten Hag when he has been summoned. Now, the Mikel Arteta that we know, the disciplinarian that he is, the guy that deals with no nonsense, I don't think Jadon Sancho would find it home or a safe haven at Arsenal. No way. We've not had as many chances to listen to a story where Mikel Arteta summoned a player in his office and the player, deviated. We've not had of a story where Mikel Arteta has given chances to players who are coming late in training. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is a clear example. So is Sancho fit for Arsenal? Probably. I think the talent is there. I think Mikel Arteta loves industrious players. He loves versatile players, and this guy is talented and really industrious. But is Jadon Sancho disciplined enough to play for Arsenal? Is he disciplined enough? A player who actually repeats and reacts to the words of a manager in discontent on social media, on a social media tweet that he actually pinned for 62 million people to see. That is not an Arsenal player. I don't think that is not a Mikel Arteta player. Arsene Wenger, I wouldn't be surprised if he signed. I mean, Arsene Wenger was not a real disciplinarian. He was more like a father. He understood everyone. Mikel is not like that. He is a father. He is a friend. He's a brother. But he's also a strict manager. You're either on time or you're not on time, and you're not a part. You're not a part of Arsenal, right? He's what I like about Mikel. He's drawn a clear line between what is white, what is grey, and what is black. And he's eliminated what is grey. He doesn't have grey areas in his judgment. It's as simple as you are an Arsenal player, and therefore you have the standards and the ability to meet the standards at this football club, or you do not have the ability to meet the standards, and therefore you are out of the door. So Jadon Sancho, I might not talk about his quality, but we will have a Manchester United fan on this podcast very soon this week, and he will be giving us the perspective, in his perspective, what is Jadon Sancho good at, and how do you deal with an ill-disciplined flop like Jadon Sancho. I'll speak to you right in the next one.